What's up, Amazon sellers? Today I am joined by Eric Castellano from Amazon Lit for a two-part special, and this is the second part, learning about Amazon Lit's journey from 0 to 50 million. And today we're really going to be looking at the operational side of this, what can I say, amazing business. So let's get stuck in. Eric, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah.
Can I just ask you to introduce yourself if anyone doesn't know, tell us a little bit about who you are and obviously Amazon Lit.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me for episode 2, man. Excited to explore our operations and really help the viewers grow their Amazon business because there's a lot of opportunity there. So like Tom said, my name's Eric Castellano. I'm the co-founder of Amazon Lit, and we operate one of the largest Amazon third-party FBA companies in the country, in the United States, and also one of the largest wholesale companies in the world. And we've been doing it for about 5 years, and we're crushing it. We're continuing to grow year over year and just take the next steps and the actions to continue to do that.
Fantastic. And if you don't know, so obviously in part 1, if you haven't watched that, I will drop a link up above right there. Do watch that. And if you want to know, you've been selling on Amazon now how long?
8 years.
8 years. And you obviously just mentioned 5 years, so why 5, not 8 initially?
What was it? What was that? The 5?
Well, you just said 5 years, and the reason was because he was doing 2 to 3 years of arbitrage.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
don't worry about that. That's why you said 5.
Yeah. So yeah, wholesale 5 years. We started RA the first 3. Yeah.
And if you haven't watched it, do watch that journey.
Yeah.
Because, my God, 8 years to get to 50 million a year in sales. That isn't total, by the way. That's like this last 12 months, 50 million.
Yes.
You know, that is just next level. And and the reason why we're having this video today is because, hey, I'm about to do 1 million in the last 12 months in the UK.
Nice.
And for me, 50 million is just something I'm struggling to understand. What does that even look like?
Yeah.
Like, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us about like the operations, like where are you based at the moment? You know, do you have a warehouse? What's the situation?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're based out of northern New Jersey, and we do have a warehouse. You know, we didn't always have a warehouse, though. I'm sure a lot of the viewers don't have warehouses, but we realized that in order to scale the business, we needed space to scale it. So it was definitely a learning process for us. You know, like we touched in the previous video, there was no courses or YouTube channels like yours. There was nobody talking about this stuff to teach us. So we're self-taught entrepreneur Amazon sellers. So in the beginning, there was a lot of trials and tribulations growing the business, and stuff we learned early on in that first space was we used to just have chaos, you know? It was just the employees would come in, they'd pick a section, and they would just put up a little folding table and start packaging products, you know? And then we started traveling the country and visiting other businesses, and we were like, you know what? We're doing something wrong here. We're missing out on probably tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue and profits every year by not having systems in place. You know, just like McDonald's, they have a production line, or when you get a car produced, whether it's Tesla or Ford, they have a production line. Why don't I have a production line? And the light bulb went off. We really got to streamline our efficiencies.
Oh my God. And hey, I'll come back to that in a second.
Yeah.
Thank you. So the question I just want to kind of understand for you is, my God, 50 million, like, I struggle to comprehend what that looks like operationally. So you've got a warehouse in northern New Jersey.
Yeah.
Like, what's the size? How many staff do you have? Like, you know, break it down for me so I can kind of get a feel for like, what does the 50 million a year?
Yeah, like what does it take to get there?
Yeah, right, that's like big.
So we operate out of a 20,000 square foot warehouse. About 15,000 of that is warehouse space, and the other 5,000 is office space, where we have our buyers, right? So that's an important position. You need someone to purchase the inventory that you're going to sell. I'm sure a lot of you are doing the buying, which Sebastian and I did for years. But soon you need to delegate that task to somebody else. So we have buyers. We also have mine, Sebastian, and Ted's office. And then we have, now we have web developers, which is, I think maybe we'll save that for another, video, you know?
When that's needed there, we'll come back and do that one.
Yeah, but in the warehouse, I think that's really where the magic happens, because that's where all the production and the shipping and the receiving is. So in the warehouse, we have 25 packers who operate at 5 different packing stations. So there's 5 packers to each packing station, you know, and we have it set up linearly. So they literally are, it's a production line where each packer has their own steps. So one person's opening the product, taking it out of the box, the next person's, whether it's bubble wrapping it, polybagging it, the next person's sending it down the production line to someone who's gonna label it, sticker it, FN SKUs, warning labels, risk of suffocation, and then the next employee is taking it, putting it back in the box, taping it up and putting it on the pallet. And that system repeats itself thousands of times every single day. In our facility, we produce about 12,000 ASINs or orders on a daily basis. So there's a lot of moving parts. And then another role that we have in our warehouse is what we call a picker. And they're the employees who are moving the products to those production stations, because we don't want our packers going in the warehouse to get something, because if they're in the warehouse, they're not packing. Yeah. If they're not packing, we're not making money. So we have the pickers bring the packers the products, and it's all organized and it's synchronized, and it's like a beautiful musical. Wow. It really is.
And obviously, if you don't know, right now we're in Houston, and you did an amazing event yesterday. So
yeah.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much for doing
that.
Like 70 different Amazon sellers all joined up.
Yeah.
Learned, gave a great presentation and also learned so much. And during that presentation, I remember you were talking about, like, I think you're doing a full container load every single day out of the warehouse.
Yes.
So it's serious volume.
Yeah.
Obviously amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and you know what? COVID was huge as a lot of COVID was huge for Amazon sellers as a whole. Before COVID, we were shipping 2 to 3 truckloads a week, and now we're sending 6. So it's literally, business has doubled because of the demand. And it didn't stop after COVID has slowed down. Now we're living in a more free world where masks aren't required and stuff, but the demand and the online shoppers, they didn't stop shopping online. So it's really huge for any Amazon seller. There's a ton of opportunity.
Oh my God. Yeah, I agree. It's interesting. You've seen the slow death of in-store retail.
Yes.
And spend, you can see that, and you can see Amazon's rise in the number of percentage of shoppers and the revenue in that. COVID has just accelerated that.
Yes, accelerated, 100%.
You're saying, like, in 1 year you've doubled the amount of output.
Yes.
Next. Wow, absolutely amazing. So let's just bring it back a second. So you talked about, you've got these pickers, you've got these packers, but I just want to bring it back even further. You talked about, my God, you've got these staff who are just picking up tables, doing whatever they want, and you went to other people's warehouses and you said, like, we're losing money here, something's wrong. I just want to ask you around that, because, like, how did you know that? How did you know what you didn't know? How did you spot that problem?
Yeah, so in these warehouses we would visit, we would notice just certain higher up employees, like managers and stuff, just kind of standing around watching the other employees. And so we started asking questions like, hey, what are these guys doing? What are these women doing? Like, why are they just kind of standing here watching employees? And come to find out, they're actually counting the movements that these employees are taking. And I was like, holy crap, like, I never thought about that. But then, we sat down and we realized, like, if we can eliminate 10 steps for each process, for each employee, you multiply that times 6 times a week, times 52 weeks a year, times 10, 20, 30 employees, you're literally saving tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars annually. And for us, millions of dollars annually. So it's like, it just really, that's when the game changed for us. When we saw these guys at other warehouses doing these things that big businesses do. And we're like, listen, in order for us to no longer be a mom and pop Amazon seller, we got to do what these huge companies are doing. And that's what we did.
God.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. And yeah, I talk to about people like, you don't know what you don't know, and you've always got to be learning. And I think even we're learning from you, and you talked about it earlier on in this video, is so that you're watching other people and learning from them and bigger businesses and seeing how they're operating.
Yeah.
And, my God, we can always level up to the next level.
Yeah, there's always more to learn. I've never stopped learning, and I hope I never do, because there's just so much to learn. So much to learn.
Fantastic. Hey, honestly, it's absolutely amazing. And I sit there and go, 50 million, like, what the hell? Like, can you get even bigger? Of course you can, but, like, you've got to be amazing. And obviously you're operating at another level. And we looked at yesterday in the presentation, your revenue, you share your sales, you share it on your Instagram. Amazon_lit, if you want to know. You share like your 12 months, and you can just see it with like 3.5 million 12 months ago, and now it's like 5.5 million, which is going up.
It's going up.
And that's consistency in approach and continual improvement.
Yes, and diversification as well. I'm always open. I encourage our employees to try new things, try new products. I'd rather try something new and fail at it than not try at all. And I think that's what a lot of people are scared to do. So get out of your comfort zone. It's huge to do that. And you're going to make a lot of mistakes, but some of them are going to be winners, and they could possibly change your life.
Definitely, absolutely agree. So let's kind of bring it back to where we were. So you were talking about pickers, packers. Is there anyone else in your business? You talked about buyers.
Yeah.
So what does how many staff do you have, and what's the general role type that they're doing within your operation?
Yeah. So any really growing wholesale business will have 4 positions. So it'll be pickers, packers, purchasers, which we also call our procurement team or buyers. They're the people purchasing our inventory. And then position leaders. We call them our 4 Ps. And the position leaders would be a manager who manages those pickers, packers, and buyers. So, the buyer position is the foundation of the company, because if the buyer is not buying, then the pickers and packers don't have products to produce. So really, it all starts with the buyer. And they can't just be buying anything. They have to be buying profitable items that sell well. So there's a process involved with all of these employees that needs to all work together in order for the business to thrive.
It's an ecosystem, isn't it?
Yes, it's an ecosystem.
One chair, one leg falls down, the rest of it's down.
Yeah.
My God. And how big's the team now, may I ask?
We have about 48 employees right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Next level.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I would say about 35 of them are in the warehouse, between pickers and packers and position managers, and the rest are upstairs in the offices.
My God, busy company, lots going on. And for yourself, 50 staff, what's it like managing such a big team? How do you do it? My God, you were 8 years ago, you were going into a Costco, buying loads of stuff, putting it in the van, writing down UPCs.
Yeah.
How did you learn how to manage 50 staff?
Yeah, so I had absolutely no clue. Sebastian as well, we talk about this frequently. We had no idea how to manage anybody, We always worked for other people, and we had a few crappy bosses, and we knew we never wanted to be those horrible bosses, We wanted to be great leaders. So a lot of trials and tribulations, a lot of delegating tasks, relinquishing control, right? And training people to do these positions, so then they can bring people under them who can then do the other positions. So it's really like just a working community of people who understand the process, and everybody has someone they report to. They report to the managers report to Sebastian, myself, or Ted, and it's just structured like any legitimate business. And there's weekly meetings to make sure we're all on the same page, So whether we're traveling or what, we try to attend these weekly meetings to just make sure that the business is operating well,
And hey, it's interesting, something I really picked up on there. It's we suffer from this as Amazon sellers, delegating, giving people the authority to do things. We're like, no one can do it as good as I can. And it stops you from scaling. How do you overcome that problem?
Yeah, there's a lot of fear there, definitely a lot of fear. I think really just doing it, and understanding that these new employees are going to make mistakes. And I think the best way to kind of present this to everybody is we have this phenomenal buyer. She's a female, she's an immigrant, came to the United States. She's just a hustler, right? And we brought her on about 5 years ago, and I personally trained her, Sebastian personally trained her, and now she outperforms all of our buyers, even me and Sebastian. She's like the most amazing buyer that you could, and it's because she has just a different perspective on the way she purchases products, and she's able to grow these relationships. So it's like, if we didn't get over that fear and relinquish control to her, then we wouldn't be able to scale where we are,
And I think that there's something I just really want to pick up there. I want to pick up the fact that you said she is better than you and Sebastian.
Yeah.
And interesting, people probably look at you and think you guys are like, you're not saying this, I'm saying it, like the experts of, should we say, the buying, the understanding, knowing what you do. Why? Because you grow a business to 50 million. But what's really interesting is you admit that there are people who are better than you in your own business.
Yes.
That's something really fundamental in regards to growing a big business.
Yes.
You've got to say that I am not the best, and people can be better.
Absolutely. And before I touched on like web development, I think that's really where that kind of comes into play as well. I'm not a coder, I'm not a web developer, you know? So am I gonna learn how to do something new, or am I gonna hire a professional, you know? Probably gonna hire a professional. So it's like you need to know what your strong points are and what your weaknesses are, and capitalize on your strong points, and then what your weaknesses are, delegate to someone who's a professional.
Fantastic.
You know?
Honestly, thank you. So we're here today in Houston, and because last night obviously had a great event.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And honestly, thank you so much. There's so many people there, and you do lots of these events, don't you?
Yeah, all over the country.
I think the last we did was Miami, is that right?
Yeah, we did Miami a couple months ago. We have one August 7th in Miami again.
Cool.
And then we have August 23rd in Las Vegas.
Cool.
And we have September 23rd in Orlando. Those are the next couple scheduled events. And then we have them, you know, every month now that the world's opening back up, we'll have, and we're going to try to make it over to the UK soon as well.
I'll try and make it over with you, depending on where I am as well. But obviously, as we said, the event last night was amazing, and you shared so much, honestly. There's one thing which I really want to kind of pick up on, and I'd ask you just touch on it. Obviously, don't give away all the secrets.
Yeah.
You talked about something like EI, RI, if I'm getting that right.
Yeah.
What was that? You can explain it and share it with the
Yeah, absolutely. So it's your IOs, your EOs, and your ROs. It's your internal operations, your external operations, and your relationship opportunities. So internal operations is everything we just discussed. What's happening within your business, right? Whether you're in your living room, a storage unit, a basement, a garage, a small warehouse, big warehouse. Like, what is your community of employees doing to produce your products and get them out the door? Is that process optimized? Right? And then the external operations is everything that has to do with Amazon, right? So making sure you're getting your reimbursements, making sure your Amazon inventory is getting checked in time, making sure you're dealing with your seller feedback, your customer complaints, managing your account health. Those are staples, right? You can't let that slip to the wayside. And then the last one, relationship opportunities. You want to make sure you're building relationships. You know, one of the most common questions I get is, hey, Eric, I reached out to all these wholesalers. They're not giving me any good pricing. I can't grow a wholesale business. It's like, did you spend any money yet? You know, it's like money talks. Spend some money with them, and then they'll, build that relationship. It's not always take. It's take, give, and then gain,
And last night you shared an example of a supplier you no longer work with, I think there are 3 products.
Yes.
And
cello wisps.
Yeah,
yes.
do you want to share, like, how long did it take you to get started? And build that relationship, and then obviously what did it eventually lead to? And obviously you're no longer working with them, so you can share it.
Yes. So I'll give a brief little synopsis of that. So there was a company, I loved the product, which is important to me. I like to believe in products that I build close relationships with. And I saw this gentleman at multiple trade shows over the course of 2 years, and he kept telling me no. And whenever I hear a no, it doesn't mean no forever. It just means no today. It means no today. So what I do is I see him again next trade show. Hey, it's E. You ready? Amazon Live. We're ready to sell your products. No, not ready. E. Maybe never. And then finally, he reached out to me, and we built a relationship. And I remember my test order. My first order was like 6 pallets. They have 3 SKUs: a Parmesan, Asiago, and a Cheddar Parm Crisp. And I ordered those 6 pallets, and they sold out in like 2 days. So I was just like, you know what? I'm getting a truckload. And then we started ordering bi-weekly truckloads. And over the course of about 24 months, we did about $4 or $5 million in sales revenue with them at very healthy 25% profit margins. Wow. And then, like most relationships, they, some last a lifetime, some part different ways, and we parted different ways. The guy we were working with left that company, but now he manages other companies, and we stay in contact. I see him at trade shows, and he's always giving me new opportunities. So it's like, that's what I mean when I talk about relationship opportunities. Harvesting it, being a good individual, right? Just being patient and tolerant of their needs as well as yours. And just, it's a bounce back and forth. It's a take, give, and then gain relationship.
Really interesting. 2 things you pointed out there. You will get nothing. It takes two, and the result is you cannot ask for a discount if you're not spending the money.
Yes.
And you preach this is just start spending some money, show them you're serious, and then you can start negotiating better.
Yeah.
Right? Even if you just, and you said this, if you're spending at break even, that's fine, just to show them you're serious.
Yes.
And then get the volume in, and now you're going to be starting.
Yeah. 100%.
You talked about it there, whereby it's about, spend the money, but the other one as well, build the relationships. And I've heard you talk about this a lot. This industry we work in, it's a small industry. People know each other, and like you said, this contact you had left the company, went somewhere else, but because you've got the relationship, now you've got other opportunities coming out of that.
Yeah.
So honestly, I think it's a really top tip, so thank you.
Yeah, and I encourage anybody, especially the event we're going to be doing in Las Vegas at ASD. That is the reason why we're doing it there, is because ASD is one of the largest wholesale trade shows in the country. So there's a lot of opportunity there, and you'll find out the more you travel, the more you'll see the same companies. It's a very small industry, and you get to know these people, and that's where the magic happens.
So quick question, ASD, what's the date?
August 23rd.
August 23rd, make a note.
Yeah.
So question for you, obviously, thank you so much for sharing all the operational side of the business.
Yes.
I've got a much better operational understanding now of a $50 million a year business. Yeah. Hopefully I will be there one day.
Sooner than later, right? Sooner than later.
If I do it the next 8 years, I will be very happy. But a question for you is, let's say for example, if someone is let's say they're about $500,000 a year. Now. So they're not started, they've already got operations running.
Yes.
And they're looking at you, they're going, 50 million, I want to get there.
Yeah.
3 things you'd recommend for them. They're really doing $500,000, they want to get 50.
Yeah. Those are my favorite type of clients to work with, because they really understand the business and they just need that push and the information. So the 3 tips I would give anybody in that position where you're already operating a quasi-large Amazon business and you're trying to grow to that 10, 15, 20 million is decrease your profit margins, right? And the first thing you're going to think is like, what is this guy talking about, right? But decreasing your profit margins will in turn bring you to my second comment, is moving more volume. So lowering your profit margins will allow you to turn your inventory more, sell more products, which in turn will give you more seller feedback, more buy box priority, and it will allow you to build better relationships with your vendors because you're purchasing more products. So it's like, drop the profit margin. What was number 2 again? I forgot.
So you talked about decrease your profit margin.
Yeah, decrease your profit margins. Oh, so sell more volume. Sell more volume. And the third thing I would say is really focus on your operations. Because you're losing a lot of money in your processes. Yeah. Right? And just whether it's improper communication with your team members, or just how you're producing your items, or even if you're using a prep center, maybe you're not communicating with them enough and you're at 75 cents a unit, but you can get it down to 60, but you just haven't made that initial phone call and said, hey, we've been doing business for 15 months. Can we get it down to 60 cents a unit? So just little things like that. Don't be scared to grow your business by tweaking and changing your processes. You can always go back to the old way you used to do it, but if you don't try a new way, then you'll just be doing it the old way and you'll never know.
Fantastic. So if I just recap, decrease your margins.
Yes.
Crazy to decrease your margins. Bear with me here. Decrease your volumes.
Yes.
And then watch your operations, like really get into detail.
Absolutely.
You talked about it. Stand there and watch the people with the steps and what they're doing. I think you talked about it last night, like they're picking up the table, they're moving around, someone's walking 2 steps, you're like, that's money. Stop them from moving the 2 steps. They're quicker. Jeff Bezos and Amazon, they're all super simple. That is money. Those steps cost you money. So efficient operations.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're running your warehouse operations, that's going to be so key.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. So obviously running a $50 million a year business is a big tall order. What do you like to do when you're not obviously at work?
Yeah.
What do you do in your spare time?
I'm a foodie. I love to go to nice restaurants and explore different cuisines from different parts of the world. It's one of my favorite things to do. I've hit some amazing restaurants out here in Houston. I also like to spend time with my girl. I'm a big late night, after 10 p.m. I like to just cool down, watch a nice little Netflix show. I enjoy going to the gym. I definitely don't attend the gym as much as I'd like to, but You know, something I've been doing recently is I do no headphones, you know, I just like to be within my own thoughts and be like at peace, because I feel like if I'm working all day and then I go to the gym and the music, it's just, I get no chill time, you know? So that gym, it's just, I'm able to like kind of chill out, level my head and just kind of be at peace for a little bit, you know?
And obviously last night in Houston, you had a very interesting car. What, a big car?
Yeah. Well, I like to rent. My personal car is just a regular day-to-day car. I'm an A to B guy, but when I travel, I like to rent exotic cars. And last night we rented it was the first time I was driving. It was a Slingshot. It was pretty fun. And it's fast, and if I lived in a warmer climate, not in New Jersey, I would probably get one to just whip around the streets in, you know? It wouldn't be so good in the snow, though.
Yeah, it looks a bit crazy. Like it's but hey, honestly, fantastic. And I think, it's nice to hear that you do have a life outside, but also as well, it's quite focused. You understand, you talk about it, I work, when I go to the gym, I want to be in my space, I want to hear it.
Yeah.
It takes dedication, it takes focus, and a lot of hard work to get to where you are right now.
Yes.
And it seems like you're really self-aware of yourself, not only just in the work and how many steps people are taking,
yes,
but also how the work affects you in your personal life. And like when you're at the gym, I just want to be peaceful.
Yes.
And that's about, I think we talked about it off camera about having balance.
Yeah, and that's something I'm continuing to learn, you know, and I surround myself with other people who have more balance than me.
Yep.
So then we could talk about, I love to ask them like, hey, I'm really struggling with this right now, balancing, let's say it's, my girlfriend and work or family and work, like, what do you do? And they're like, oh, I do this. And I'm like, wow, that's a great idea. And then I try that. And if it works, I do it. And if not, I go back to them, hey, that didn't work. You got any other suggestions? Or I go to somebody else, because I don't have all the answers.
Yeah. And you're learning. You said that obviously 8 years ago you started out, and today where you are today.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. But it doesn't matter not having the right answers. What matters is the fact that you're willing to find them.
Yes.
And obviously you've shown that time and time.
If I'm the smartest guy in the room, I'm in the wrong room.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to find you, learn more about the operations, how can they get in contact with you? What's the best way?
Yeah, absolutely. Amazon_lit. That's our Instagram handle. Love to have you come check out our posts. We post a ton of free content. Also, Amazon Lit on YouTube, post a ton of content there as well to help you grow your business. We also have a Facebook group. All that can be found through our other socials. They're all linked together, so just check those out.
Fantastic. What I'll do is I'll drop a link above to the YouTube, and also down below I'll drop all the other links as well. The one thing I will say is Eric does actually reply to all the messages himself, and last night at the event, his phone was blowing up. So please give him time to do messaging. Not only has he got to run a $50 million a year business, he's also got you guys messaging him, and obviously taking time out for his life and obviously his girlfriend as well.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for obviously taking the time to spend with me this and also the event yesterday. Obviously, it's really fantastic.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
I think I'll say from everyone watching this and obviously from myself, thank you so much for your time and all the knowledge.
Yeah, Tom, man. It's been a pleasure.
Take care, man.
Thank you, brother. That was good.